Hey, we are at Giga-Bites Cafe for another battle report. Trying out some new lists, and we're trying out one of the other new missions from the tournament pack. This one's called Take and Extract, I think. It starts with 4 objectives. You got one kind of at each corner, about on the quarter line. Every building on the board is hardened, which means it's armor 8. These are regular objectives, so you get in the building, you search for them. The longer you spend searching, the easier it gets. It's 1 point if you find it, it's 2 points if you get off the board. Then in the center of the board, there's also a focal point. The focal point is worth 1 point if you contest it, and 2 points if you control it, which means you have more points worth of ground units there than any other player. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so I'm changing up my list a little bit, and got just the commander by himself in a coyote, then one armored battle group with tomahawks and kukri, and then an infantry battle group with 2 sets of braves. And sharp-eyed viewers will notice that this stand right here are actually firstborns, but we're going to be using the forward air controller rules, and I'm allowed to have one stand or one unit for free. So in order to differentiate them visually, I just use the firstborns, but they're actually braves. In any event, 2 units of braves and a kukri squad, and again 2 more units of braves and kukri squad, then 3 caimans in the heavy battle group, then some war spears, and then a dream snare for support, and then of course the 3 havens and a spirit. So very different list from what I normally run, pretty light on the gates, and significantly different firepower organization. So we're going to see how this works.
Is the Fire Drake, is that in the same group as the Braves? Is that?
It is a support choice, so it is the support choice for this battle group.
And what's your commander level?
It's going to be a command value 4, so I think the title is a war chief.
Okay. I'm playing my, unfortunately, unpainted UCM. I'm trying out a new list, and I think it's going to be really great, but we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're very excited about this. We just got it today. We've got a Kodiak with a level 4 commander, a unit of 3 rapiers in a condor, and a unit of 2 praetorians in a raven. Then I've got a unit of 6 katanas in 2 condors and an eagle gunship. I've got a unit of 2 bears with 3 legionnaire bases each inside them, inside a condor and a ferrum, and a unit of 2 legionnaires inside a raven and another ferrum. It's the start of turn 1. The war spears did not come out of reserve, and I won the roll-off and deferred, so Brian will be taking the first activation.
So I activated one of my infantry battle groups. I had this haven drive on, had the kukri squad come in and disperse widely, had this spirit come in, had these braves jump out, and these are the forward air controller braves.
Alright, I activated my armor battle group, brought the katanas on as far forward as they could go, brought the eagle in, I shot that building over there with all of its guns, and I did 6 damage. I am so stupid.
Yeah, so I activated my 2nd infantry battle group, had the havens drive on, and my original plan was to use the gate on the Fire Drake to drop the havens off, but I saw an opportunity, I moved it in, laid a medium-sized blast, rolled significantly below average, and took out 2 of his 6 tanks.
I activated my infantry battle group. There's 2 bears that are behind this building, along with their condor. I put all the legionnaires inside here. I rolled the ferrum on over here, and I put the drones out there.
Alright, so I activated my armored battle group, drove the tomahawks on, and drove the kukris on.
I activated my infantry battle group, brought my raven on, landed it, dropped them off. They're in the building, drove the ferrum on, and put the drones over here.
Alright, so I activated my commander. He walked on the board, took a couple of pot shots, and did pretty well.
He had 2 damage to the building, but he killed 4 infantry on 1 base. I brought my Kodiak on there. I brought my rapiers on over here, AA coverage in the center, and then I'm taking a bit of a risk with my praetorians. I moved them up behind that building and went to the deck.
Alright, drove the Caymans on. They unloaded on this building, did a lot of damage to it, and killed a lot of infantry.
Yep, 10 damage to the building and 4 more damage to the infantry. Start of turn 2. Brian won the initiative roll-off, unfortunately, and that's about it. Oh, one War Spear came out of reserve. The other one did not.
Alright, so I activated one of my infantry battle groups, assigned some Havens to it, dropped these Braves into this building, then had the Fire Drake move back a little bit and then take another shot. Got really below average rolling, but I did manage to kill a couple more katanas.
Yeah, one more katana. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky there. Oh, and the reason you move the Fire Drake back is so that he can stay within the 24-inch range of the medium blast, but stay out of range of my rapiers right here. There's a very narrow window where he can position himself. Alright, I activated my command battle group. Over here, I had my Raven fly up, and I had a really difficult time getting the Praetorians in the building because he was on the wall. So I had it go here, stay just out of line of sight of the kukris, drop them on the ground right here within 3 inches, and then come in from this wall. My rapiers repositioned here to get out of line of sight of the Caymans because they have a 36-inch range. And my Kodiak fired at that Cayman over there on the right, my right, and hit, but he made his passive save.
So I activated infantry battle group, searched for the objective, did not find it, brought in another unit of Braves through the Spirit, and then just moved these kukris up, and that's it. Alright, so I made a mistake when I activated this kukri squad. They're actually assigned to the armor battle group. Alright, and so this is the infantry kukri squad. I basically just moved them up when I activated the infantry battle group. So basically we just refought the turn.
Okay, we started with my infantry battle group here. They needed a 5 to find the objective. They found it, which was really lucky, and they're off the board, so I got the objective. Then I took my drones, I moved them up here, figuring that I could take out some of his kukris. He reaction fired my drones, killed 1, which was a little below average, and then I fired. Unfortunately, this kukri was a bit out of range, so I took 1 shot at it and 6 shots at this one. I got 2 of them through his passive save, so I just needed a 2 up to kill it, and I rolled a 1. So a lot of fail.
So I activated my armor group, moved up the tomahawks from here, and then moved the kukris over here, and that's it.
I activated this infantry group. They both searched for the objective on 6s, failed to find it. My Ferrum's cruising 6 inches up the road here, and my drones all moved up behind this building, and every single one of them went to the deck.
No, in this timeline, they probably would have.
Alright, so I activated my heavies and basically moved the Caymans up. These 2 took a shot at the building and did some damage to it.
3 damage, 1 damage to an infantry base.
Alright, and then this Cayman took a shot at the Ferrum and put some damage on it as well.
2 damage.
And I'm not sure if everyone is aware of this, but the Caymans actually have a wide coherency, which is kind of necessary just because of the size of the mob.
Yeah, otherwise they'd probably bump into each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, I had my katanas fire at the building. They did no damage. Yeah, no damage at all. I was really disappointed with that. Then they spaced out a bit, so they won't get fire draked quite as easily. Then I had the condors move back to create some room. The eagle moved up here, staying just barely out of AA range with him. Fired all its shots at the building and only did 3 damage. No falling masonry damage to the infantry. So a little below average for the shooting that turn. Hopefully I can still take that building down.
Alright, so my commander just moved up the Coyote, took a couple pot shots at the building.
Yeah, I did a couple damage points there.
Yeah, and then I had my War Spear do a suicide run and try to attack that Pharaoh, and it was worth it for me.
He did 1 damage to him, and then my Ferrum and all my rapiers unloaded and blew it up. So the War Spear's dead.
Yay!
Started turn 3. I won the roll-off for initiative. His War Spear came on a 2+. I rolled for my infantry on a 6, and they did not come on. And this is now a CQB that's activating. And then I played 3 cards, Fighter Escort on the transport here, so it can't be targeted by fast movers. An underground monorail between these buildings, and another Fighter Escort on this condor over here. Alright, so I rolled to find this objective, activated my infantry group. They found it on a 5, I got 2 rolls, passed it into a bear got into the condor's off the board, so I have the second objective now. All the infantry went to the wall and fired all their missile launchers at that building and did 5 damage to it, no falling masonry hits. And then the drones came behind the building here. He reaction fired with his kukri, killed 1, and then the drones killed the kukri, and then 2 of the drones shot the fire drake, did no damage to it. And then the Ferrum back here just drove around the corner.
So I activated this infantry battle group, searched for the objective, did not find it, moved some of my havens away from this building over here, and moved over my fire drake, took a pot shot at the Ferrum, took it out, and took out all these drones.
Yep, we got an Energy 10 blast on Armor 7, did double damage, took out the last 2. Alright, I activated my other infantry battle group, which is, this is the one that extracted out of the building, so they're off the board this turn. It's basically just the Ferrum. The Ferrum drove up an inch, launched 1 extra replacement drone, it's back here. These drones moved back around the corner, he chose not to reaction fire against them, and they managed to kill a Spirit and a Tomahawk.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group, moved the kukris up, one of them took a pot shot at the Raven, killed it, searched for the objective, still didn't find it. When we did our close combat, I lost 2 Braves, he lost a stand of Praetorians.
So his average roll should have been killing 6 Praetorians, so he was slightly below average. My average should have been killing 5 Braves, so I was way below average. I rolled horribly. Alright, activated my armor group. Moved these guys over this way a little bit, but kept them spaced out, and the Eagle just slightly repositioned. They fired at the building, and it took all their shots, but it blew it up, killed the Braves, blew up the objective.
Alright, so I activated the Cayman, moved them up, one of them took out one of the katanas, and took a couple pot shots at this building. And with the laser pods, and might as well, haven't done it yet, but we'll go ahead and take shots with the Gauss rifles on that as well.
Okay.
Alright, and I took the Gauss rifle shots at the building, blew it up.
And there it is. So my Ferrum's out in the open.
Yes, it is.
I activated my command group. My rapiers were back here, are now scooted all the way up to the wall. The Kodiak took a shot that came in, actually managed to hit it on a 5, but he made his passive again. And they're in combat right now, but I played a call for extraction card, and they have another Raven coming in.
Alright, so I moved the command battle group up with the Coyote. It didn't have anything to shoot at. Activated the armor battle group, swung these kukris around, took out 4 of his drones. Had the Tomahawks haul ass to here because they want to get the basketball court. Then I had the War Spear come in, take a pot shot at the Ferrum, which it did. Unfortunately, it reaction fired back and was able to kill the War Spear. Start of turn 4, Brian won the roll-off, and neither of my reserves came in, and nobody played any cards. Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group, basically assigned all the havens to them and just ran them over here. And then I brought the Fire Drake over, took another pot shot at the Ferrum, and managed to put some more damage on it.
It's got 2 hit points remaining.
Yeah.
I activated my armor group. The Katanas got back in the Condor, and then the Eagle shifted over here, shot his Cayman, managed to hit it once, but he made another passive save.
Alright, so I acted my infantry battle group, found the objective, bugged out with the damage squad, passed the objective to the Haven, fought the CQB, he played Op 4, and we fought the CQB, he made all of his dodges, and I lost 4 Braves.
Made his fortitude check. And the rule we're worried about here is can you reallocate your bases on subsequent turns to the CQB? I read through the rulebook and I thought the answer was yes. So we allowed him, when the CQB resumed this turn, to only allocate 1 base or 1 squad to repel, have the other squad leave. I think that's fair. But I don't know, we can ask that on the forums. Activated my Ferrum over here, spawned 4 more drones, they're hiding behind the building. And then took my 4 drones that could shoot this turn, ran them over here, he didn't reaction fire me, and I killed a kukri.
So I activated my armor group, had these tomahawks swing wide, took a couple of shots at the Ferrum, did nothing.
They were hull down because of the ruin, you can kind of see it there. Yep.
Then had these kukris swing around the building, and I took out 3 of his 4 drones.
Alright, activated my command group. He went behind this building, just repositioned to get away from the AA over there. And the Kodiak fired at his kukri that was right there, killed it. Oops. There you go.
Alright, so I activated the Caymans, moved them up. These 2 took some pot shots at this building, did a pretty good job.
6 damage and 4 damage to an infantry base.
Alright, and this last Cayman took some hold down shots, at the Ferrum, managed to grease it, so that's good.
Drones are dead.
And that's it.
Activated my infantry group, and they shot 6 missiles at that building and did 3 damage.
Alright, so the last thing was to activate the Coyote. It moved forward, took a couple of pot shots, and that was it.
1 damage to the building. At the start of turn 5, I won the roll-off, and nobody played any cards. Alright, move my Eagle up, because his kukris are dead here now, so it could have a little more room to operate. It fired its missiles and its rail cannon at that Cayman there. Managed to do no damage, despite a rail cannon hitting another passive save. And just scooted my katanas up a little bit.
Alright, so I activated my armor group, moved the kukris from around the building, they're holding here, then moved the tomahawks over here, took a sniper shot at that rapier, did no damage.
I activated my command group, repositioned the Condor up against the building just slightly with the rapiers. Kodiak fired at the Cayman, but all my scouts are dead, so we needed a 6, didn't get it. And they're in CQB still, so nothing happened there. Just on the end of that turn, I also moved my Raven up. He reaction fired with all 3 kukris and didn't kill it. It's still alive.
Alright, so I activated my infantry group, signed all the remaining gates, or most of the remaining gates. Basically just moved the Havens up, moved this one back with the objective, moved the Spirit up, popped these guys into the building, had the Dream Snare redeploy over to here.
Fire Drake.
Fire Drake, you're right. Popped the building, but did no damage to it at all.
Rolled a 2 on his damage roll.
Yeah.
Activated my infantry battle group. 1 squad got into a bear, which drove 3 inches over here, and that's it.
Alright, so I had my commander move up, took shots at the bear, did 1 damage.
Activated my last infantry battle group, which was in this Raven here, and they couldn't quite get into the building, they went to the deck, and that's it.
Alright, so I activated my remaining infantry battle group, played augmented strength, managed to get kill a couple of his guys, but his Praetorians wiped out my Braves.
Start of turn 6, Brian won the roll-off, and I played field repairs to fix up that bear.
Alright, so I activated my armor group, and the tomahawks that were over here took a pot shot, took out 1 rapier, and then they went ahead and retreated back behind the building. And then the kukris that were over here moved out to here, and they have not shot, so they are hanging out waiting for something.
I activated my large infantry battle group. The bear made it over there, deployed its squad of infantry, and then I played a secret entrance card, which allowed these guys to go directly into this building. And he espionaged it, and I espionaged his espionage.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group. I had the Haven that had the objective moved off the board, and I had these other 2 Havens move up towards the focal point.
I activated my 2nd infantry battle group, the one with the squad with only 2 guys left in it that came off from reserve. They got into this building.
Alright, so I just moved the commander up.
Alright, I activated my command battle group, got the Praetorians out of here into the Raven. They went through here, he reaction fired with a single kukri, didn't kill it. I accidentally went into the charged atmosphere, that didn't kill it, and so they're in the building.
Lucky bastards.
And then I also put my rapiers into the Condor for a short hop around here. The reaction fired with his remaining 2 kukris, managed to do 2 damage to it, but didn't quite kill it. rapiers are out, so they can contest that focal point. Oh, and my Kodiak fired and missed. Go for it.
Okay, so I activated my second infantry battle group, popped in through the Spirit, my one remaining stand of infantry, then had my Fire Drake take a pot shot at the rapiers. I missed. I played assisted targeting, re-rolled, and got a 1, which means the shot doesn't even deviate, so completely wasted 1 shot.
Alright, I activated my armor group. Eagle came up, shot the Cayman, actually got 3 hits, but managed to not hurt it at all. And then my Condor here came and dropped off the katanas so they can be near the focal point.
Alright, so activated the Caymans, fired the katana, destroyed 1, fired the rapiers, destroyed 1, and that's it.
We're at the end of the game. We can go through the objectives. I got this one off the board, so that's 2 points for me. I got this one out of here very luckily before the building went down, so that's another 2 points, so I'm at 4. I blew up that one inside the building, so nobody got that. Brian got this one off the board, so that was 2 points. Brian easily controlled this focal point with all those ground units, so he gets 2 points for that. And I also contested the focal point through the rapier there, the katana, and then all this infantry in the building that was adjacent to it. So I got 1 point for that. So I win the mission 5-4. So first off, how do you like the scenario?
I do like it because it is both a mixture of focal points and objectives, which we have played before. Losing this objective was critical, and then not taking that building down. I had a chance to take it down before the objective got off the board. I had the possibility of shooting the Caymans at it. They might have done enough damage to destroy it. So that was a huge deal. Instead of activating the Caymans, though, I put more infantry into this building for the invading CQB and the search there. Overall, I'm pleased with how my army turned out because this is a very strange build. The Fire Drake was amazing, not in its kill potential, but in the fact that it could stay far enough away from things and shoot at them. And that first round of shooting to get a bunch of katanas was good. My Caymans were ridiculously awesome because every time he shot at them, they actually made their passive saves or made their armor. So
yeah, it was like 3 or 4 shots that were
so I'm not sure if they were amazing because they were really lucky or if they were just really amazing. The fact that they have such a long range is definitely useful, and the fact that they have a wide coherency definitely means I can control a lot of avenues or lanes of fire. So overall, I'm pleased with the way the Caymans work. Not being able to get into this building on turn 1 was certainly problematic. Maybe taking 2 spirits instead of 3 havens would probably would have been better, but I would have had to give up something else, and I'm not sure what I would have done in this list. We played with the forward air controller rule. Didn't make a heck of a lot of difference. We have some questions about how that is supposed to work.
Well, I pulled your guys off the wall into CQB, so once they were off the wall, we don't think they would have had line of sight anymore, so they wouldn't have been able to contribute.
Yeah, that's the way we played it. I assume that's the way it's supposed to be played, but we're not completely sure on that one. Taking out the Ferrums was actually surprisingly easier than I thought it was going to be.
We had a pretty open board. There weren't a lot of buildings on here, so that makes it easier.
Yeah, and if you're trying to contest the focal point with the Ferrums...
Which I was.
Yeah, which is a lot of points. I mean, but you had to expose him to some fire.
Yeah, and it's really probably not a good idea to try to get a Ferrum in there, especially if he's winning the tank battle so decisively.
Yeah. Might have been better to have them in condors instead of driving them on, which would have been points and sacrifice.
No, it's albatrosses.
Albatrosses?
Yeah.
Okay, my mistake. and then try to redeploy them on the last turn.
Yeah, that's a thought.
But that's points you're giving up that you could use someplace else.
So we were talking about Brian's list. Like, I looked at his list. I was like, "Geez, that is that 1,500 points? He's got like great AA, great infantry, and really nasty tanks." I was like, "What's he missing?" I'm like, "Oh, he's missing gates. That's what he saved points on."
Yeah.
So that's the downside to his list, is it's a little slow for a Shaltari list. And I think on a mission like this, it actually would work pretty well. Other than the fact that that medium-sized building over there was a little vulnerable. Obviously, he dominated the focal point. Like, I still looked at the beginning of this mission, I said, there is no way I'm going to win that focal point. So I need to really aggressively push those objectives on the far side and hopefully deny him something there so that I can make up for the fact that I'm not going to win that focal point in the center. And I was able to do that. I was pretty aggressive and I was able to eventually deny him those two. And I put up a fight over here, but honestly, I wasn't really expecting one squad of Praetorians to take out two squads of Braves. That was not a probable matchup. So I was just hoping to delay him and hopefully maybe somehow prevent him from getting it off the board and reducing it to 1 point. I wasn't able to do that. But I was able to contest the focal point and be cagey over here. And that, since I was able to get these two, that was enough for the victory. We were talking about Brian's list. Because it's so slow, like, this mission was fine, but if we were to play like a search or a recon mission, this list would be in so much trouble because the other opponent would be running around getting all the intel and he would not have the speed to keep up with them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're putting a lot of points into things like the Caymans, but they're faster than Jaguars and they're about the same point cost. Actually, the same point as Ocelots. They're both 95 points. The difference, of course, being is that you're going to be able to field 3 Caymans instead of 2 Ocelots and 1 heavy unit. Overall, yeah. This is definitely a slower or an atypical Shaltari list. But, you know, that was the whole point, to see what would happen with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in focal point missions where you don't, I mean, actually pretty much anywhere on the board, you're going to really rock focal point missions with that list. It's going to be tough to stop, but might have some trouble on the missions that require a little more speed. For my list, I thought it turned out really well. I still need to get better at playing with my Ferrums. I tend to leave them a little exposed. I think I played better with them in this report slightly than in the last report, but I could still probably improve on that. Learn, you know, how to optimally use the drones, where to place them. I think, if anything, I was a little bit overly aggressive with the drones on this side. I should have held them back and looked for a better opportunity to strike with them maybe a little later in the game. Also, I made that giant mistake on my very first activation, clumping up all my katanas. I could have, like, pretty much lost the game if he had gotten a little luckier with his Fire Drake shots on those first 2 turns. I was so lucky to get away with only losing 3 katanas there. It should have been 4 or 5. So that was obviously a huge mistake. I just was asleep there. Just completely forgot that he had an area weapon. I hopefully won't do that again. And other than that, I mean, pretty much by turn 3, we knew I was probably going to win the game, but he had a chance to win it to tie it up by if he could keep me off that focal point in the center. So I just played really cagey for turns 4 and 5, kept everything hiding, tried to minimize my damage, keep everything within striking distance, and then on turn 6 just dumped everything onto the focal point so I could make sure I contested it with somebody. And I was able to do that, so this turned out pretty well in the end. Anyway, I like the mission. I don't quite like it quite as much as Secure the Flanks. I don't think I think it's Secure the Flanks has a little more strategy. It's some harder choices to make, but this is still a great addition. It's a good mission. Be happy to play it again. Any other thoughts?
No, I think this is a fun mission. Secure the Flanks, I think I like a little bit better because of the odd deployment that you have. But I think this is a fun mission, and I like the combination of both objectives and focal points.
Yeah, makes it more interesting. Great, alright, well, thanks for watching.